So, first thing is I'm going to teach you how to do is just an ollie. Now, each handboard does feel a little different. Personally, this is probably my favorite. This or this one. I do have the raindrop one, but it's not my favorite. I like to do different tricks on each handboard because each one feels different. The first trick I'm going to show you, I actually like to do on this one best. This is my China one. Little stickers. And it's just the ollie, right? So, before we learn the ollie, what I want you to do is I want you to take the two tips of your finger and put it on like the very tail of the board and just do that. Just pop it down exactly like that. And I actually, if you guys get a handboard, and yeah, just practice this. I just want you to go and practice doing that over and over again until you got a solid pop down. When I first started popping, it looked kind of like that, which is okay. Kind of look like that. Nothing too crazy, but the pops should look something like that. Now, what you kind of do to ollie is after you've mastered that, you just want to basically, it's just, if you understand how to do tricks on a skateboard, they're really easy into transferring it into handboard. Now, you kind of just want to pop, and then, that was a really bad example, you pop, and then you level it out. With the scoring motion we learned earlier. That was a really bad one. Now, personally, I actually like to, I know people don't usually say this, I like to actually, only on ollies, I like to hit the board instead of like use the two-finger method. I actually like to hit the board, but that's only on ollies. Any other trick, I use the two-finger method, but I would just mess around with that just a tiny bit. So ollies, you usually will see me slapping the board rather than using the two-finger method like we've learned. The next trick, after you get good at ollies, I would definitely get good at those first, because those are the fundamental trick to learn. Next, you have tray flips. And tray flips, what you do on them is the spurring motion from earlier. You basically just do that, and if you know how to do a tray flip on a skateboard, you kind of like flick with your front foot, but you don't really do that with here. You kind of just let it graze off your fingertips a little bit as you do the spurring motion. And when you do that, it actually looks really good. And that's basically what you do to do a tray flip. It's really easy. You don't want to press too hard, otherwise it'll like go everywhere. And you don't want to like flick, because again, if you flick, it'll like do a bajillion flips like that. So the best thing to do is just let it graze off your fingertips and just nice light press. And when you do that, what you really want to, what I see a lot of people do, is they do the trick. Wow. They do the trick, they let it hit the ground, and then they put their hands on it. What you really want to try to do is get good at catching the board. Like you want to, when you pop it, you want to catch it with your front hand, and then put like, and then kind of put your second hand a little slight second after. Like that. You can watch that in slow-mo, see my hand putting on the different ways. Now, the next trick is optional. You don't really need to learn it. The next trick is a Casper. And on that, you basically just flick it down like this and flip it over. That's literally all you do. And from another angle, that kind of just looks like you flip it down, bring your hand, and just flip it over. It's a really cool trick to learn. It looks cool, it's just not used for much, so it's not necessary to learn. It's definitely a cool trick, though, to learn. Next, I would recommend learning the kickflip, which I do like best on this board. The tray flips I usually do on this board, actually, are the boards I usually do tray flips on, but I just kind of forgot to switch. If we look, this is me doing a tray flip on that board. There's a tray flip on this board. Wow, that was really embarrassing. Wow, okay, hold up. It's just, that's me doing a tray flip. It doesn't look as good, but it just feels cleaner on this board. I'm also wow, this one doesn't like to flip as much because this board's way lighter than this one. So that one flips a whole lot more. This one actually, sorry, this one's my favorite for tray flips. This one's my favorite for burial flips, which we'll see later. This is my favorite for trays. That one's my favorite for trays. Anyway, what we're learning is the kick flip, which my favorite, just because of its weight. Now the kick flip is pretty much, my finger is hurting a little bit. The kick flip is just how you do it on a skateboard. It's literally, you pop, like you do the spring motion, and then you level it out, and you kind of just flick your hand forward. And something I see a lot of people do is they kind of go like this. My bad. And there's two things that can happen when you like spastically like slap it down. You can either miss like this, or you just make it do like a bajillion flips, and it doesn't even leave the ground that much. That's not really what you want to do. Or if it's just like, even if you do pop it well, and you like even just like flick your hand really fast, it does that, or it just flies out of frame. So just a nice like controlled, wow, that was really bad. Nice controlled flick. Once you land that, I would definitely recommend landing it a few times, not just once. Do it until like you know you can't mess it up. Which is really embarrassing because I just messed it up like a bunch of times. But yeah, I don't usually mess it up that much. Then you can learn like the switch. Okay, I'm not great with the switch. And then something people have said that I don't have experience with is doing nollie kickflips just coming easier, which, if you see that was a pathetic attempt, is because I'm actually not good at nollie, like any nollie tricks in general. Like I can barely nollie in general, but I have heard people say nollie flips come easier to them. Personally, that doesn't. Kick flips definitely come easier to me than nollie flips. But if you're struggling a little bit with the kick flip, definitely try a nollie flip to see if that helps you on your path to the kick flip. Now, obviously, I'm not teaching you like to shove it, because shove it is pretty self-explanatory. You literally just shove it. Same thing with the front side. I think that's, oh, sorry, last trick I want to teach you is the varial flip, which I like this one the best. So, this one, the varial flip, if you didn't know, is basically just, if you didn't, I did it right there, it kind of went out of frame a little bit, which sucks, but a varial flip is just a combination between a kick flip and a shove it. It's kind of what a varial flip is. That was a really sloppy one. But basically what you want to do is you want to scoop, you want to basically just practice to shove it. Once you get really good at the backside shove it, really I'm not good at kick flips on this board. It's just too light. Really get good at doing the kick flip. Once you get good at both of those tricks, you really just want to do the kick flip motion, and after you do the kick flip motion, kind of just like, again, controlled flick. And that was a really bad one, but it kind of, that was also really bad. Well, it kind of, that was like a double, triple. Should look something like that, but a lot better. I'm not used to doing it on this floor. I'm used to doing it on my table. That's just, it's not too hard of a trick to learn. Wow, I say that as I mess it up like 3 times. I did get a couple clean ones. It's not too hard to learn, but it looks really cool. And that's all that's important in skateboarding, isn't it? Or handboarding. The next trick I want to teach you is really similar to a tray flip, because if we learned tray flips, you just do this. You just pop down on the board, like we learned, and kind of let it graze off your front foot, and it kind of just does, wow, I I probably landed like primo 1,000 times in this video. Okay, so this is yeah. So maybe I don't like this part the most. I thought I did. Oh wait, no, it's because that's what it is. So basically, to do the next thing I'm going to teach you, by the way, I don't think I told you, is a hard flip, and you do it eerily similar. It's exactly the same as a tray flip, which you want to get really good at, by the way, before you learn the hard flip, except you kind of just push out like a front side shove. You kind of just push out, and it does a hard flip. And you really want to press it really soft on this trick. You really don't need to press it very hard. There it was. That was really bad. Really, really bad. It was really sloppy. But that was how to do a hard flip. Now, they look very different. They're very different looking tricks. But that was a tray flip. This is a hard flip. That was not it, but you get the point. They look very different, but they're both very similar tricks to do anyway. I'm trying to think, what other tricks can I teach you? Oh, the impossible, I guess. It's kind of just a shove it, but you kind of scoop your backhand a little more, and you keep your backhand on it a little bit. It's pretty difficult, I'd say. There it was, right there. Yeah, you literally just, like, kind of do this and kind of just scoop it and keep your hand on it. And you tilt it a little bit if you want it to look more realistic. But you basically just do that pretty much. That's pretty much it. Was there any tricks I wanted to show you? Heel flip's just the same thing as a kick flip, except you go the other way, so I don't really think I need to show that. I mean, I will try. I'm not really good at heel flips. We don't talk about that. Yeah, it's literally all it is. Just, I'm personally not good at heel flips. I'm not great at them. That's kind of how you do them. And then I think that's it for tricks. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. No, I'm not forgetting anything. So, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was educational. I hope you learned something about just how to do a handboard trick. Oh, sorry, my bad. There was one more thing. It's kind of like an advancement on other tricks, because those are like the basic tricks you need to learn to do other tricks. And one is a tray flip, late flip. But to do that, not only do you have to get really good at tray flips, not only do you have to get, wow, this is rotating. Not only do you have to get really good at tray flips, you have to get really good at catching it. You have to get really good at catching it. Once you get good at catching it, once you do the tray flip in midair, you kind of just slap the board down, and it doesn't flip. I'm not great at it. There it was right there. It was really sloppy. I kind of landed like this, but it gets the point across, and then you can kind of just start adding other tricks on. You can kind of just start adding other tricks on the basic tricks once you learn how to do them. That is all for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed. If you really enjoy my content, I would consider liking and subscribing. I post new videos quite recently. I try to get them out quite a lot. You can always unsubscribe later if you don't like my content or you decide you just don't want to anymore. It's free. It doesn't cost anything against you. I hope you enjoyed this handboarding video. Hope it was educational.